Lucky Lefty podcast. The Honora boys are in the building. Brought to you by Honora Whiskey. HonoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey. HonoraWhiskey.com. If you drink, by all means, make sure you do so.
Responsibly.
Gotta do it responsibly. And CFB Nation, presented by Twisted Tea. Hey.
It's a banger every time.
Left. Big weekend. First of all, shout out to my moms. It's her birthday. We kicked it last night.
Shout out to moms.
And then she requested that all of the kids and grandkids cook for her today. So that's why normally we do this around 5, 6 o'clock on a Sunday. That's why we're a little bit later because, hey, the queen said she wanted time with her kids and grandkids. And that's what we did, bro. That's what we did. I tried for the first time.
For the first time?
I'm a grill master, Left. I think I
That's
told
right.
you that. I'm a grill
I
master.
thought it was the brisket.
The brisket I'm saving for the holiday.
Okay.
But for the first time, like I've already done brisket for her. So, but I did flank steak today for the first time.
Oh yeah, flank steak's right. It's delicate, but it's right.
But they always talk about how difficult it is to make it tender.
Mm.
And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this challenge.
Take the challenge.
Yeah.
It gets dry fast. That's why it's hard to make it tender. So you got to marinate it.
Marinate it and cook it slow. Marinate it and cook it slow.
It's like your eggs. You got to cook your eggs on low medium, on low heat.
Yeah.
Not anything warm.
Like when my mother does her short ribs. When my mother does her short ribs, she puts them in the oven. She allows them to cook in the oven, and then she throws them on the grill.
That's right.
For about 5 to 10 minutes.
That's like the mac and cheese you make on the stove, and then you throw it in the oven.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, I got home last night, and it was so reminiscent, right? The last time we went out, we went to Gibson Steakhouse. And this was really like for her friends, church family, people that wanted to come. It was like a bigger thing. We were in one of the big rooms there at Gibson Steakhouse. Today was more just immediate family. And
that's right.
Here I am sneaking to the bar.
Yeah.
Like I gotta go to the bathroom, sneaking to the bar, checking in on the game.
Get your 10-minute walk in.
Dude, the last time I did that at the same restaurant for her birthday was the Florida State game that you guys lost on that BS call at the end. So last night was so much better when it comes to the outcome. So much better. You know what I'm saying? So can I preface what we're about to talk about? Notre Dame's impressive 48-20 win victory over USC.
That's right.
And I loosely use the word impressive. I'll just say that because of the score.
Definitely loosely.
But I think it's honest to say that neither one of us is really impressed by the win. I believe they jumped up to number 15 in the poll. And we kind of predicted this after the Ohio State game, did we not?
We did.
We didn't know that the Louisville loss would precede it, but we said, look, this is what Notre Dame does. They smacked USC.
That's right.
That's why the Ohio State loss was so damaging, because it was the only chance to change a narrative nationally about Notre Dame.
That's right.
Beating USC doesn't change. Big recruiting weekend, though.
Great recruiting weekend.
Carter Nelson, he was back on campus, even though he's still committed to Nebraska.
For whoever knows why.
Man, I think I would say expect a flip coming soon, Left. If I'm keeping it a buck with you. But I want to start off and then we'll get to like how your keys to the game went. And then we'll end up with grades and talk about some other things. You know what bugs me, Left?
Well,
I guess it's this part of fandom, right? That I know you have like bitter rivals as a fan. Like the Packers are the bitter rivals of the Chicago Bears.
supposedly.
The New York Knicks are the bitter rivals of the Chicago Bulls.
Yes.
For a short period there, the Detroit Pistons were as well. I remember when the Bulls and Pistons would go back at it, I would laugh because I would hear segments of the fandom saying negative things about Isaiah Thomas, right? I'm too Chicago for that. I'm like, dude, Isaiah's more Chicago than Mike is. Like, you'll never hear me say nothing crazy about Isaiah. Before Mike came to the league, I was coming home to watch Isaiah on Sunday afternoons.
Oh, yeah?
Like that, he was Chicago. Because the Bulls stunk. Right. I didn't care about watching them. I came home to watch the Pistons against the Celtics because Zeke was playing.
Right.
And he was repping the shot. I never cared what the Knicks were doing. Left. I still don't care what the Knicks are doing. Right?
They ain't doing much of nothing, though.
USC is Notre Dame's bitter rival. I watch Caleb Williams every chance I get.
Every time.
Every chance. I'm not sitting up there wishing for USC to lose. I'm just not that type of fan, bro. It's not this serious. I don't sit and watch Michigan hoping they lose. I just don't. I don't do that, man. All of my energy goes to my squad. Like I laugh at people, Bears fans on Twitter, that literally put their emotions into every Green Bay Packer game, like wishing they lose. Like the other night on Monday Night Football, like cats going really hard on Jordan Love. And I'm like, for what? The Bears suck, dude. Like, forget all of that energy. Forget all of that energy that I'm giving to the man. The Bears literally stink.
They're not good right now. Did they win today?
No. And 19-13, and both quarterbacks sucked today. Now, if you go look at the stats, both of them stunk today, Love. And Justin got hurt, like in the fourth quarter. His wrist, his arm, something. So that's what rubs me the wrong way as I bring this over to Notre Dame. The absolute silly things that have been said about Caleb Williams from Notre Dame fans over the last 24 hours, 24 plus. It's actually embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing. Like, Notre Dame fans have actually said things like Sam Hartman is the better pro prospect at quarterback.
That's terrible.
Like, horrible. Like, what are we talking about right now? I've said it before and I'll say it again. If Caleb Williams was a quarterback of Notre Dame, they would be undefeated.
Easily.
The Ohio State game wouldn't have been close.
Because we got defense.
That Duke game would not have been close.
We got defense.
The Louisville game would have been a dub. Shout out to Thibaut Flemister for taking them clowns down last.
Yeah. They had their Super Bowl beating us.
I'm not basking in them losing. I'm just saying I love the fact that a former Notre Dame player got busy against them. Shout out
Who?
to Steve Flemington.
Oh yeah.
I think he averaged like 5 yards a pop, 2 touchdowns. That's what's up. So, it was kind of disappointing. Like, then remember we asked the question after the Ohio State loss, do you storm the field if you beat USC? Is that a field storm worthy event? I guess we got our answer because the students definitely stormed the field. But that,
Why?
that troubled me, man. That troubled me because I feel like, okay, Notre Dame fans, we're doing a little bit too much. And then the fingernail stuff came back up. And I'm like, man, if that dude was your quarterback and he put FUSC on his fingernails, his fan base would have gone crazy. Crazy supportive. Eh, I just don't, as a Notre Dame fan, I really could care less if the rivals lose, as long as they lose to us.
Yeah, as long as they lose
As
us.
long as they lose to us, I don't care what they do the rest of the year. Like, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Wait a minute. I got to make sure. Let me double check this. Let me check this schedule.
The USC Washington game?
It is November the 4th. I cannot wait, Left. Can't wait.
What game is that one?
That's the Washington USC.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Can't wait. Man, cannot wait.
But Washington has a defense.
Me and my entire Notre Dame fandom will be parked in front of the TV to watch that in its entirety. As a college football fan, but I do. Win, lose, or draw. I don't care who wins.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't care who win on that one.
I don't care who wins.
I want to see both guys do play well, though.
It is. That's it. So now we can get to your keys and how they went because, whether it's college and Notre Dame or the Bears, I do, or the Bulls, I don't care what the rival does. Dude, I'm not wasting energy hoping that the rival loses to the Denver Nuggets on a Tuesday night. I don't care. All of my energy is towards Notre Dame. That's it. That's it.
Exactly. And I thought we did exactly what I thought we would from the sense of history. Our history is that we only allow CJ Stroud to score 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to being prepared against top tier quarterbacks, defensively, we'll have the game plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight was Saturday night was no different because I knew Al Golden with that NFL scheme had some looks that Caleb has never seen before. And then you add that variety of different looks, and then you combo that with a fast-paced offense in which they play. That's an easy style win for us because that's a quick 3 and out that you end up having. You're trying to move fast against looks that changing and makes it tough for the quarterback. So you're getting off the field a lot much more, and so it makes it hard when you don't have a how do I say it when you don't have a how would you put it? They have a lot of empty calories for an offense, considering they don't run that many plays. They just run fast and they, work the scheme versus what you're doing. But the way Al Golden calls defense is it's a little more in depth. So the general plays that you're trying to run on a consistent basis just doesn't work. It's like using like the Baylor type of offense versus an actual defense like a Alabama or something where they actually, playing that stuff out. And I just overall thought we played with a lot of pride. There's more so than anything. I think that was what stood out to me most is that just the pride overall and the heart to be like, you know what, we putting our foot down today, and it just showed, especially on defense. But offensively, we put our foot down. We wasn't trying to be passive and try to wade in the water on this team. We were, regular scheduled program. On top of the fact that USC defense is trash, I'm glad that we actually took advantage of the fact that their defense was trash, and we proved it again on Saturday.
And see, the offense really wasn't required to do much.
Right.
Like if your defense turns the ball over to you and you got a 2-yard drive, that's as an offense, are you supposed to apologize for that?
Not at all.
Now, in the I believe first and second quarter, score was 7-3. Notre Dame had a couple of drives that stalled out for various reasons, right? And I really don't think it was offensive scheme. Looking at both drives again today, it was really more about execution.
That's it. That's it. And the decision was made that we're gonna come and be ready to play and not sleepwalk through the game. Once it got late in the second, and I saw that the score was close, I said, "Oh, this is where we want them.
Mm,
This is like dragging the fighter out to deep waters. Once we make it past that first second round, they discombobulated. When's the last time they played from behind, and when's the last time they scored that little, that late in the game? I
mhm,
think it threw off their whole um, mojo
mhm,
just because they're looking to score first drive and have 21 points by the first quarter, high rate of scoring, and when that was affected, they didn't know how to respond to it or that adversity because it was just too different. They knew their defense was giving it up.
Well, they are the quintessential fast break team of college football. They
Right.
have to play from out in front.
Yeah, and when they can't, it's just you'll just win. It just they're
Yeah.
not built to come from behind like that, which is similar to Colorado's offense
Hmm.
and how Stanford being who they are, the clever
Physical,
Stanford that
climb back in the
and they
game. Yeah.
consistent. Yeah, they
Uh-huh.
just showed their character and identity, and that'll win every time versus a fast break. That'll
Hmm.
win every time
Yeah.
because Stanford just got that. Man, they hard to beat. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't care if they won 4, didn't win any games. That team is hard to beat. I mean, the guy started making crazy plays. The receiver.
Number 13. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. And he's like, which is always Stanford's kind of like niche. You get these tall, statured, built ass
Wide
receiver
receivers.
tight
Yeah.
ends. They be like 6'5",
Hmm.
245. They may not be fast or nothing like that for real,
Hmm.
but they just big dudes, grown men. And that's what that game looked like in the second half of the Colorado game, which is grown men. They just running, they running tough. And so I
Hmm.
really appreciate it. But that fast break offense is definitely broken up and runs out of steam when you're playing from behind and when you can't just rip off play after play with the basic stuff that they were doing. The stuff that Al
That game
Golden
should have been
highlighted,
over. Like you said, that game should have been over if Colorado could simply run the ball.
they can't do it. They
They
can't.
can't do
They're
it.
not built. They're not built for that.
No.
And the same thing for SC. They're not built to sustain a run game when they're trying to close out a game or keep an offense off the field or whatever.
Yeah.
We're a well balanced team. Well balanced team that schemes the right way beats a air raid type of system that they got going on because they definitely don't got no defense. So they're relying extra heavily on their offense.
Yeah.
And once you can slow it down or affect it, I mean, you got them bird in the hand. So I thought strategy wise, we had them beat from even the jump, which goes back to why this wasn't making the wasn't making more of an impressive feat than beating Ohio State, just because we knew going in. Oh, USC didn't have no defense. We already went on the offensive defensive line. It's just a matter of execution. Ohio State they're pretty talented. We pretty talented. Beating them changes the narrative of the program. USC's been there, done that. So it's like, yeah, it's good to see us win by a great margin and shut down the Heisman uh, potential hopeful again, but a Heisman winner. But it was only a matter of time for USC.
Look, we
They're gonna get
saw.
exposed more with
Oh,
Washington and
definitely.
all.
They
Yeah,
have,
they
yes, at least two more losses,
yeah, at
and it
least two
might it
more
might
left.
start this weekend with Utah. Like
Yeah, and it might start. Yes,
literally, because Utah's defensive and offensive line have to be like salivating after watching the Notre Dame.
oh,
Like, oh,
oh,
word,
you giving it up like, yeah.
you
So
know, and they
Caleb better worry
already
about.
proved that they have a formula in the Pac-12 championship game last year. Like, oh, we can pressure, Caleb.
Absolutely, they're like an exoskeleton of a team. They got all the nice extremities and fancy stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't have, like, it's like a house, right? They got the nice, all the extra stuff, but when it comes to like stuff that you need, personal items like pillows or a bed or bath towels,
Mm-hmm.
they don't got that. They got the cheap towels. They got the cheap linen sheets and stuff. It ain't that Egyptian silk cotton.
Now, look, I'm not gonna front. You know, I have like my linen closet for the visitors when we have people stay, and then we have our own personal linen closet. Like for us, you know, I like the real thick towels myself.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but in the visitors' linen closet, they get the real thin ones.
And I understand. I'm saying personal items.
Yeah.
I'm saying like they're treating their whole crib like an Airbnb rental. It's a nice Airbnb. It's a nice neighborhood, but everything in there is dollar store quality.
Mm-hmm.
That's USC. Because when the interior has to step up that offense and defensive line and the crucial spots to change the game, they don't have none of that. They got
Yeah.
the fancy bells and whistles. The Tesla car that got the butterfly doors and the fancy, but it's made of plastic. It ain't no heavy machinery like a G-Wagon where you can write
Mm-hmm.
it off. That's a piece of plastic. It's fancy. It's brand new. It's electric and all that. But I think that styles make fights, and we had USC beat before the game,
Mm-hmm.
just from a psychological standpoint.
Yeah.
Their finesse. We're physical. Period. End of story. Game over. Their finesse. We're a physical team.
Like you said, styles make fights. And this was Terrence Crawford against Errol Spence.
Basically,
That's what we watched. That's exactly what we watched last night.
like they
Like,
had nothing for us.
no, no, no. And it was good to see special team success. It was good to see defensive success. And when they got the turnovers, it was good to see the Notre Dame offense put 7 on the board.
Right.
With the 3 interceptions, turn those into points, and do what you have to do. And once they got USC coming from behind, you almost made them one-dimensional. Because Notre Dame defensively looked like they were not. They came in saying, our front, our linebackers, and our defensive line can handle the run.
Yeah.
We can handle the USC run. And they had enough confidence that they were like, oh, we got dudes on the back end to lock you down.
Exactly.
Shout out to, let me tell you something, somebody that's taken unnecessary criticism, shout out to Cam Hart, who continues to have a hell of a senior season. I keep telling people, people have no clue what this young man means to this program from a leadership standpoint. And the fact that he consistently for the last 2 years, when he could have sat out and not played certain games with injuries, he chose to play.
That's right.
80%, 85%, 90. And we knew you weren't getting the best of Cam Hart, but he was there for his squad. He was a leader. And now that he's totally healthy, now you see who he is. It's as simple as that.
That's right.
So huge to see him play the game that he played last night. The offense, special teams, coaching staff, everybody needed this game. And I'm glad it went the way that it went. A lot of areas gained some confidence heading into the bye week. That's what we needed to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting a chance to really get a win after all the dramatic losses and emotional strain that we took during these unnecessary well, I mean, it's the gauntlet. You know, we went through our gauntlet. We had some teams we had to face knowing the challenge, and we ended better than we started. If Ohio State is the starting point, we ended better than we started. And I think that it just shows the character of who we are as a team, especially Notre Dame, that when it gets later in the year, we get better. That's a constant. You know, there's constants and variables. The constant you can rely on is that we'll get better in November. We may have some early losses that are unfortunate, like we do, Stanford, Marshall, you know, but we get greater later, and it's a good way to start going into bye week that way.
By the way, kudos to you and your partner in the booth this weekend, because not only was that game horrendous, but the conditions were horrendous up in Ypsilanti, bro.
It was cold for me and the team. They had
And
the
you're
windows
and
open.
you're from the Midwest.
No, I'm not. I don't feel like it. I didn't feel like it then. My goodness. I mean, it was kicking my butt, but you know, the action
What
is always
did they
competitive.
have you flying to Detroit? Did you
Yep,
fly to Detroit? Okay.
right into Detroit. So it's not far, but it was man. It's early October and it's cold, like cold.
Yeah.
So that farmer's almanac probably got y'all in negative 15 degrees by January or something.
Yo, it is really a huge difference, and we'll get back to Notre Dame. That Kent State program, with the departure of Sean Lewis and all the transfers they lost, bro. You talking about a program being decimated? Woo!
Yeah, that's a lot of MAC schools though. They get built up real nice and just gut it when the
Yeah,
coach leaves for a better school or whatever the case. And you know, Kent State just opposite of Notre Dame, but similar issues of recruiting.
yeah.
Nobody want to go over there, you know. And
And I mean, what Tez Walker had his second game, 2 touchdowns with North Carolina. Yeah, bro. It is that is the transfer portal, right? Let's talk about the offense a little bit. And it was good to see Chris Tyreek finally catch a deep ball and score.
6 games in, you know.
Man, Sam Hartman almost got Rico killed in the first half. And the running game is the running game. I thought the offensive line did a really good job of just kind of setting the tone.
Yeah.
Like I said, they had short fields, and Sam was clean all night.
Look, you got to remember, you got guys that play against us and say, "Man, that's the best offensive line I've ever played."
Yeah.
What do you think USC's D linemen are saying? They ain't never seen no blocking like Notre Dame's blocking, or at least the consistency. Because the Pac-12 is very thin across the board at O-line from just a steady dose of just physicality and impact and
Mhm.
consistency in the run schemes. And,
Yeah,
you got light in the pants whole lineman that's playing a lot of fast break football. So for us, giving USC a shock in that factor, it was about controlling the line of scrimmage. And once Sam, just like any quarterback damn near in college football, get enough time in that pocket, you can do some damage.
absolutely. Absolutely. Lucky Lefty podcast. I think the offense, as I said before, a lot of people still have questions. Last night, what can you really judge? They only You can judge time of possession. USC had the ball for 10 more minutes. I said there were two drives when that game was around 7-3, where Notre Dame could have extended the lead. And I guess a few questionable play calls from Jared Parker, but yo, he added motion. We saw a lot more bunch formations, and he actually ran a reverse, and it worked. So continue to build, continue to add to, but it's going to come down to these players going out there and executing. You on mute, bro.
Yeah, and have that physicality when you step on the field and not play as if we're sleepwalking. We're
Hmm.
waiting on the other team to jumpstart us to get involved. We got involved early and often and demanded the pace of the game be on our terms. And once we did that, we made it really difficult for Notre Dame to keep that. I mean, for USC to keep that pace. Once they saw the way we were bringing it, they couldn't match that energy. And
Right.
and when we are firing on cylinders like that, we become a dangerous team now because once we can set a pace, we didn't necessarily set the pace versus Ohio State.
Mm.
We were more so trying to fight for positioning. But we set the tone versus USC, and then once we do that, we control how it goes because of our offensive line, defensive line.
And let's see, who is this that said this? Oh, Joe Papiti. Thanks for joining us, man. He said still would have loved to see more deep shots. Can I uh can I say this? And I hope people out of love, you're not getting more deep shots because Sam is not taking them. The play where he almost got Rico killed, Jaden Greathouse had man to man and clearly beat the defensive back off the line. Sam chose to lock on to Rico Flores on the crossing route. That was another opportunity for a big play,
Yeah,
right?
they're there for
They
sure. I
tried to
think.
hit Jordan Faison on the fade route.
Why are we still throwing a Jordan?
Bro, you look,
Yes, I have a problem with that.
he's a story now. This is Notre Dame. Anytime you get a story like that, you already know they're going to milk it. You can roll your eyes, look to the left, look to the right. Notre Dame is about to milk the hell out of this Jordan
Oh
Faison
my
story.
god, it's terrible for recruiting.
He all
Terrible for
First of all, he
recruiting.
already picked up a scholarship last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's full scholarship now after the Louisville game.
Man, what is Notre Dame recruiting at this point? This is ridiculous.
I'm just
This is
telling you.
ridiculous. But he get a scholarship, but we denying a 4-star running back at the door that wants to commit.
Let's hear some other questions or comments left. Keith Martin, thanks for tapping in, my brother. Sean, do you think USC could beat Washington? I believe the game is at USC.
Yeah, it'll be a shootout. That's all I'm hoping for.
I think the
One
game
of
is
them
at
48 to
USC.
50, 55 games or something.
It is, yes, at USC. And if USC can jump out in front of Washington, they'll be able to play their game. But I would take Washington
Michael Penix.
in that matchup right now. But do I think USC can beat them? I mean, any team can beat. They can beat. I mean, they have the talent to beat them. They do. Mike Nolan. Indy basically chose Buckner over Williams in recruiting cycle, even though he's a Gonzaga prep guy in the DC area. Wrong evaluation for. And once again, we kept telling Notre Dame fans there's a backstory to why Caleb Williams put FND on his nails. Right? He went to school. Your former teammate, Devin Butler, if I'm not mistaken, tried to inform Notre Dame about Caleb Williams. And like most Notre Dame former players, no one reached back out. No one took their calls. This isn't the first ex-player that is like, yo, I had a kid interested in Notre Dame. And Notre Dame basically poo-pooed the kid. And he didn't like it. And so when he finally had a chance to play them, he let his feelings be known. Period. Whether he had it on a towel, on a wristband, on his nails, he was going to find a way to let Notre Dame how he feels about them. Even though the old regime is down at LSU, for him it didn't matter. It didn't matter. So, Jake Grizz. So, do you all think ND would have beaten SC on a neutral field or at the Coliseum?
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, obviously, I think home field plays some sort of advantage, but in a neutral site, I think we would have had similar results just due to the fact of the things that we do that they're not good at, and the amount of pressure Caleb has to have. Because if you looked at that game, taking a step back, if Caleb doesn't have a 400, 300 plus yard game, USC is struggling. They're a bad football team.
Facts.
Like a bad football team. Because they don't got a run game, they don't got a defense, and special teams isn't the best. So if Caleb's not out there getting 400 or 500, what is USC? And the numbers are crazy. 300 to 400 plus all, a game. Throw in some rushing yards with it. That's a lot you're requiring of your quarterback when everybody else on the team is a pretty much average player. So, I just think from top to bottom, we have a more thorough, talented roster than SC, who has a bunch of finesse, talented players.
Team full of transfers, too. Because, Notre Dame, according to some fans after the Louisville game, Notre Dame can't beat teams that have a lot of transfers. Like, the transfer portals changed everything. Not when Notre Dame plays their A game. When Notre Dame plays their game, they smack teams.
Yeah.
They smack teams. Joe Petiti had this is for you, Left. With Jack Swarbrick and Father Jenkins both retiring, what effect will it have on the football program?
Well, it just depends on how they leave the program and what tentacles they have attached to what they're leaving from. So it's a clean break. You just stepping into the beyonder or whatever they call it, step into yonder.
Yeah.
Then allow Pete Pravacqua and Marcus Freeman to flush out all the extra and start, fostering their relationship move forward. But Father Jenkins and Swarbrick leaving, I just think is the closing of an era
Hmm.
that we have had a consistent amount of relevance and success to at least attract these TV contracts, apparel
Yes,
deals,
yes.
the
You
things.
have to tip your cap. You have to tip your cap.
So they've definitely set the stage or standard of which Notre Dame can operate from in a lot of different ways. I mean, all the construction going on, Father Jenkins obviously has a huge hand in that. So from a updating and progressive standpoint, Notre Dame has achieved those levels of expectations. Hell, Jack Swarbrick was a big part of had been those additions to the stadium. I mean, that stadium been there forever, and for Jack to have a lot of opportunity and a big hand in assisting and building those additions to the stadium, that's legacy in of its own. That's a pretty pretty amazing thing to be a part of. I mean, hell, he even took the grass out for the turf.
Mm,
I mean, so Jack's been very impactful during his time at Notre Dame. I mean, hiring Marcus Freeman and Brian Kelly. One of them is a winningest coach of all time at a place like Notre Dame. He hired him. It's a pretty good move. I think he can hang his hat on a lot of very positive things. He can talk a lot of stuff about if anybody was to try to pull his card about being at Notre Dame. He's you know he's put a
mhm,
lot in place. Now, um, I do think that hopefully we step in more of a freer position and a more friendly position to do some of the things that require spending money. I think not going that direction would be an example of hanging on to Father Jenkins and Schwarbrick by not spending money and good stewardship if that stays around.
mhm,
So those are the two things that I would think if we don't get over, they will still have an influence, quote unquote, on what's going on in Notre Dame.
mhm. We know Jack's replacement. We've yet to find out who Father Jenkins' replacement will be. Shout out to Marcus Freeman and the team giving Father Jenkins the game ball last night and that's his last rivalry game. So that was huge. That's his last SC game. Nice gesture by them. And it was really good to see Joe Montana back in the spot, up in the suites. And then at the end of the game, he comes down. He's standing in front of the locker room, dapping everybody up as they walk into the locker room. That's huge for recruits to see and experience. Cam was there. Your boy Justin Yoon was back on campus. Like,
Hey,
yo,
that's the guy right there. You need to roll out the red carpet for Yoon right there, man. All time
man,
leading scorer.
yo, like the players came in for the USC game, which shows you just how big and how impactful and meaningful the game still is for players that played there.
Yeah, it's definitely still a huge game, and it's really a well attended game. Only if USC is worth a damn, and for them to have the Heisman guy and a lot of hype, it definitely brought out the stars. Similarly to how when we played Ohio State, we're the reason LeBron came, not because Ohio State.
Mm,
LeBron came to the game because Notre Dame was playing them, and that's how he showed up. So when SC comes with all their celebrity finally because they got some star players and this, that, and the third, now you feel more of that traditional rivalry fester. You
mhm,
feel like it's more of an event. It's more of something going to happen. And I think that only comes when USC finally is a consistent good. Because other than that, we're consistently good every year. And it's
mhm,
kind of like whatever. It's no big deal or small deal that we end up beating them. because they are never consistent or haven't been in the last however many years. Some years it'll be up, some years it'll be down. We've kind of played the middle, but at Ohio State is a new level, in my opinion, that we could have reached because of what they are to and what they mean to college football and what our narrative has been as Notre Dame in the landscape of college football.
You're right about that, Left. It is no, look, missed opportunity. No sense in crying over spilled milk. Big victory last night. Big recruiting weekend. Um, the atmosphere, the fans, the energy. That was one of the things we said as well. This team has been on the road. This team has been on the road. They come back home, and as disappointing as that Louisville loss was, we really wanted the stadium to be rocking, and the environment was, yo, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible last night. And we weren't even there, but just it came across through the TV screen like, okay. I
No,
remember
absolutely.
when they first came on, Left, and the lights were off, and you saw the ND on the field being formed by the band with the lights off. And then they showed Marcus Freeman, and he had this look on his face with his offensive lineman standing behind him. I'm like, okay, okay. They look like they're ready to play tonight.
Yeah, and that's the one positive you can get from a Marcus Freeman is that there's no doubt that he's going to get his team ready to come out and start the game fast. I think that's his personality. He probably gives great pregame speeches,
Mm-hmm.
ties it back to when he played and how it's important, this, that, and the third. So I do think
Yeah,
we've noticed that, especially his first ever game coaching as a head coach against Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl.
right.
First thing you mentioned is that we jumped out and was playing fast and was up 14-0 in the first, however early on it was. But
Yeah,
that was a total 180 from a Brian Kelly's team that you'll fall asleep, take a nap, and the first quarter wake up at fourth and haven't missed much. So it's good to see Marcus Freeman having that young man energy that fuels a team to go out there and at least play at full speed as opposed to sleepwalking into things.
yeah. I agree with that. All right, we talked enough about the offense. Let's go ahead and switch over to the dominant crew of the night and that Notre Dame defense, man. Al Golden, once again, he said it during the week. Last year, we chose to go three-man rush and try to cover. And once he got to the outside, he made plays, and then they got the run game going in the second half. Tariq Bracy missed it last year because of injury. Cam Hart missed last year because of injury. Thomas Harper, man, did a fantastic job defending the slot. And so to have the three defensive backs they had back there and the way X played last night, Left, yo, it was man, fantastic defensive effort by Al Golden and his defense. LL Nation for the first time, I think, left dozed off a bit.
Been late.
Jet lag, bro. Jet lag.
Terrible. Sorry.
Talk about the defensive effort, man. I know I'm gonna get you out of here, man.
Defensive effort, what I like is that, we show up when it's time to show up. It was a lot of hype, obviously, with this top offense in the country, number one quarterback, da 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 da. But for us to be able to be who we are for Ohio State, be who we are, and step up into great situations against Riley Leonard, these quote unquote top rated quarterbacks going into the draft potentially this year,
Mm-hmm.
we were able to fit and match that challenge of top quarterbacks, and for us to be putting the best quarterback on notice like that and had him uncomfortable and had him doing things he hasn't done in his whole career, it's a testament to just what Al Golden brings as as his experience, because we know the recruiting may not be the best, but when he get him in the building and he get him on the right game plan, they can do some great things for sure. that we should use it as an example of what
Mm-hmm.
we should look like moving forward against all these teams and stop having these up and down quote unquote emotional games. I don't understand that how how that affects the scoreboard so much because you're emotional, but clearly it wasn't too many emotions last 2 nights ago. Saturday, we was able to go out there and handle business and it looked good.
Yo, let me tell you something. Riley Mills, well, we said this. It's one difference to pressure him from the edges. If you're not pushing up front, getting back in his face, the pressure on the outside really means nothing because he's too elusive. He's too elusive. And what they were able to do every time he tried to escape, the pressure up the middle was
It
pushing
was yeah,
everybody.
you just corralling. You know,
That's exactly.
it was a lot of guys on the line a lot.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he just can just pick a gap and run through it immediately. We just constantly kept a middle pressure that got him scrambling a lot more than he probably wanted to. He couldn't settle his feet. And then, we got him so uncomfortable where he's throwing up wild stuff
Yeah.
and guys are making plays. So I think we took the element of his playmaking and affected that to the point where we made him look very pedestrian because
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't do the Magic Man stuff. And I think it just goes to what uh, the whole NFL experience that Al Golden has in handling quarterback strengths. I think he handled Riley Leonard's strength well
Mm-hmm.
in terms of confusing the looks for him. I think he handled Kyle McCord's strength well by taking away his number one receiver for most of the day, even though he won outside of his strength, which is what you got to tip your cap to. But it'd be different if he just destroyed us with Marvin Harrison Jr. It's like, well, that's what we knew they was gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I think for Al Golden to know the strength of Caleb and be able to conduct that in the game plan to where it shows up on the scoreboard. I mean, this team was scoring 50, 60 points. And we
Mm-hmm.
treated him no different than how we treated CJ Stroud. You only getting 21 at most around these parts. So shout out to Ben Morrison also being who he is, the dynamic player that he is, setting the setting the standard straight. That we got X factors too on defense, supported by a lot of other great players like Cam and the rest of them. Xavier Watts, unbelievable night. Balled out against USC last year. We took notice of that. Came back, had another repeat success. Maybe he just got their ticket. He just loved playing against SC. Maybe that's what it is.
Once again, it is not trying to be disrespectful, but Notre Dame took care of business and did what they were supposed to do.
That's right.
And it was fully expected by both of us. Even coming off the disappointment of the Louisville loss, we expected Notre Dame to dominate in the trenches. But the defense, let me tell you something. JD Bertrand had a fantastic game. I give credit to credit is due. Right? There's Leofow, spying on Caleb. Fantastic game. Man, look, Riley Mills played one of his best games at Notre Dame. Howard Cross continues to be phenomenal. Jean the Baptist, as I call him, phenomenal. He was out of position and left JD Bertrand hanging out. But man, left him out there bad on the Marshawn on the Russian touchdown
That's right.
that USC had. Just left him hanging because he tried to run a game and just, man, left the entire edge
Yeah,
with
and
no
just
defender. Yeah.
and just the overall tenacity, I think going back to just we showed a different part of our character in a
Mm-hmm.
game like that showed up on the scoreboard as well. We were the tougher team that night. We played more as a unit that night. All three phases of the game was better. Coach Biaggi was looking pretty good too. Having the special teams, Darian
Oh, I'm
Price.
happy for him. And his place kicker made both field goals.
That's right. That's right.
All the field goals, should I say?
Trust in Biaggi, man. And I think for Marcus Freeman to have some emotion, I think that was good to see. Finally he can match the fandom and what they believe in, and he
Mm-hmm.
can take advantage of that crowd success after a big win.
Yeah.
Because after these these losses that we've had, he hadn't been able to get excited with the fans in that way. So it was good to see him get that opportunity at home to get it more of a staple that I'm the head coach here. I'm
Yeah.
not just a recruiting service or a program builder. I'm actually an actual coach. I want to be known for that instead of all the intangibles like being the best UA model out
Right.
here with the exclusive clothes.
Really impressed with this secondary, man. Benjamin Morrison, Thomas, Cam Hart, Jaden Mickey, with the few series he got in there.
Mike Mickey's got to get a top job, man. He got to get a D coordinator job somewhere. Man.
Hey, hold on, man.
That's all right, man. Let that brother from Ohio get paid.
Yeah, I
Man.
want him to eat. I want him to eat. I want him to eat. Al Golden might not be here next year.
But he always trying to get that NFL gig going. There's some
It
teams
is.
that need some defense out there.
It's good to see Nolan Ziegler back on the field. Special
That's right.
teams making plays. It was good to see Drake Bowen out there. Special teams making plays.
That's right.
The Jadarian Price run, bro, was critical because they had just scored, cut it to 10, I believe. Notre Dame comes right back. Big time. Big time. Then they get the 2 fumbles after that, add on to the lead. Shout out to Boubacar Traore, true freshman, gets his chance in a rivalry game. Strip sacks Caleb Williams, and unfortunately, him, Jalen Sneed, and they're still celebrating at midfield as Caleb Williams is trying to hike the ball, and Marcus Freeman has to use a timeout to
That's
ultimately.
okay. That's okay. We accept high energy penalties. It's part of the game, but everybody made a play, and I think that's speaking to what Marcus Freeman can bring out of a team.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he can bring out of a team some of their better moments, their best moments, and a lot of guys were making plays that have been untapped. I think a lot of untapped potential was tapped into in that USC game, and everybody was flying around. And I think it's just a testament to what we can be when we figure it out on a consistent basis. Because there's no reason we shouldn't be playing like this week in and week out, especially against worse teams. We did this against the number 5, 6 team in the country. We couldn't do this against Louisville. We couldn't put 48 against Duke or Ohio State for that matter, and what they was giving up to us. So it's frustrating because we can play so well against quote unquote top rated teams and then play so close to teams where we should be doing that to them, So very interesting dynamic.
I think that, and you know what's funny? I actually took some time to listen to the post game press conference with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams took full responsibility for the loss.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 picks.
Just flat out was like, "Yo, this game is on me."
Yeah, it
Lincoln
was.
Riley spoke for like 3 minutes and had nothing left. Nothing.
Yeah, because he's embarrassed. It was just a matter of time. He gonna have to figure it out because he got some other talk. I don't think they were expecting to lose this game. I think they were looking more ahead to the rest of the gauntlet that they had going on. But unfortunately, he's not very accustomed to the fact that we get up to play USC. I know a lot of
Right,
teams get up to play us. We get up to play y'all. He don't understand that yet. He's still on second year, third year coaching. He don't understand it. Notre Dame gonna give you problems. Like Stanford gives us freaking problems. Stanford never gives SC problems.
right.
Stanford always gives us problems. I don't get it's just crazy. But they never give USC problems. They just every time USC plays Stanford, it's like, man, I can't wait to blow out Stanford this year. I mean, they just giving up touchdown after touchdown after. Then they play us and we can't get anything. It's like, what the But that's how
Yeah,
SC is. But when we play SC, oh yeah, it's game time. We're ready to play. We don't care if we 1-10 or 10-1. We're ready for that game. And Lincoln Riley got something to think about when next time that Shillelagh comes to Cali. You got to know the
yeah,
importance of the rivalry. You know, this ain't
yeah,
just another game.
yeah. Yeah, somebody else said this. I think it was last night. I, dude, we can talk about emotions and how emotionally invested USC might be this week coming off a loss. I don't care about emotions. USC has to walk out there, and Utah is gonna bang them in the trenches.
Oh yeah, that's
I'll do. You USC isn't about to roll
60
Utah. They couldn't roll. They couldn't roll Arizona
in the morning.
or Arizona State. The trenches, man. The trenches is where any emotion that USC might have, at the end of the day, Utah is going to be right there because they're going to win both lines of scrimmage. It's as simple as that. That's the game, though. That is literally the game. The man that controls the line of scrimmage has the advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's just I would like to see how we respond to this game because we exposed ourselves as to just how good we can be.
Mm-hmm.
We embarrassed the number 5 team in the country. We've exposed ourselves.
You keep saying number 5. They were ranked 10th.
Uh-oh. 10.
That was alarming to me. They were undefeated and ranked 10th.
Because they don't have no defense. And now that we've exposed the fact that we can play at this level, next week's response is even more critical.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have another 17-point game for the rest of the season. For the rest of the season, you can't have no
Yeah.
17-point victory. I'm saying 17-point victory, not a loss.
Yeah.
You can't have no 17-point victory for the rest of the season after what you just did to USC.
Yeah. Your old one of your favorite coaches will have his pit squad ready. They'll have momentum from the Louisville win. Unfortunately, we might have to do it to him, left.
We're gonna have to do it to Pitt.
Yeah.
Because we can't let them think that Louisville win is going to propel you guys to beat us because they beat us and get y'all into a bowl season. And no. We got to do it. We did the USC to you guys to let people know, okay, listen, the Louisville game was a fluke. The Duke game was a fluke. Y'all still an SEC team. I mean, ACC team and still a
Mm-hmm.
basketball school.
Yeah.
Pitt's a basketball school. I don't think anybody pays attention enough to it, but that's a basketball school over there.
No, Pitt has
They
enough
got some
history.
good basketball. I mean, obviously they
They
got
got enough
some.
history going back to the Dan Marino days and the Tony Dorsett days to where,
Oh, they do have Torrey Dorsett, huh?
and Pennsylvania is a football state. So
Okay, they got some history for sure.
Yeah.
Still, yet and still, a team like Pitt has to get blown out for many reasons for Notre Dame to look more appealing to jump back in that top 10 if we want to what they call it, a January 6 bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to beat them so bad that the Louisville win has to look like a fluke. Like we can't be close to them. We got to really put it on Pitt because then they can look at our game with Louisville and be like, oh, it's just an anomaly. They literally brought out the entire city of Louisville
Yeah.
to beat us.
It is Pitt, then Clemson, then Wake Forest, and then we end the season out on the West Coast against Stanford, who, like you said, just that Stanford game is always.
It's just always a quirky, like tough fight battle. Like what is this?
Yeah.
Every time they go against USC, it's just touchdown after touchdown after bombs away and walk in. It's like, what the heck? But with us, it's like, man, we have to. I don't know. It's something to think about moving forward. But more than anything, I think for us, it's just about finishing strong. Clemson is next, right? I believe.
Pitt's
Pitt's
next,
Pitt, then
and then
Clemson.
Clemson.
That 2 game back to back, I think would be important because we need to also beat Pitt well enough going into that Clemson game where we're gonna have to give another great effort because that's a sleeping dragon type of team late in the season that also gets better late in the season that we don't want to be their jump off point into trying to get a good finish to their season. So we got to kick them while they're down, at least down enough and make our run to move going to California for our last game.
Yeah, Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's go ahead and run through these grades, bro. Sam Hartman, quarterback.
I'll give him an A. We back to 48. He may not have had responsible for all that, but he managed us in a good enough spot to get us there. So I'll give him an
All right, offensive line.
A. Gotta give him an A, man. They're the reason why we had all our success. Just from a pace standpoint, they gave us the pace and tempo we needed to play our game against a team that's fast break. So we had to give him an A.
Wide receivers last night.
I give him a B. I just think that we need an X factor, a bigger X factor at the receiver. But we play good as a unit. You know, I mean, we just need that Keon Coleman like Florida State has.
Man,
You see that one-handed catch
that
he that brother
one-handed
had?
catch he had yesterday.
he,
Oh,
done,
ah,
I was like, oh, I mean, and he's like 6'5", 6'4", and just
yo,
he's
I
like
was
that.
literally arguing with one of my best friends today who was just like, man, oh, we got to get Marvin Harrison Jr. And I said, yo, honestly, right now, I will go Jared Verse and get me a pass rusher. I said, because I can name at least 6, 7 receivers
Oh yeah,
that's coming out next year.
that's
Heck,
that. They may not be Marvin, but they good
but
too.
they're not that far off from Marvin.
They're not that far off.
The 2 kids, Adonzi,
Oh,
dude,
yeah,
the
those
kids
two
from
out of
Washington,
Washington.
man, Coleman, Florida State, Neighbors, and
Neighbors
Thomas
from
at
LSU,
LSU.
yeah, them boys, yeah.
Dude, so it's some dogs coming out at wide receiver. Definitely some dogs at wide receiver. So I was just like, yo, go pass rusher first if you're the Bears. And then grab, if you miss on Marvin Harrison Jr., like, dude, and you get one of the Washington kids.
You still think y'all going for first pick, first, second pick of the draft?
Did you see the Panthers today? Did
No,
you
they were
see
playing tight for the beginning.
they had a 14-zip lead? What happened after that?
Their team was like, "Boy, we're not supposed to be winning."
Okay.
They front office called down and said, "Hey, stop all that playing good."
Yeah, coming to an
Yeah.
NFL Sunday near you. The winless Panthers. I don't know who they're going to beat, but it's not looking good. Uh, no, I'm not. I'm not taking a left tackle. I'm definitely not taking a center in the first round. They need to go get some veteran offensive linemen, bro. Yes, they need a pass rush, dude. They've been 31st in defense for the past 2 years. They definitely need somebody that can get to the quarterback. Your OC grade left.
I give him a B. I give him a B.
Okay.
I'm just happy it wasn't 17, but
Yeah.
it's more contingent on what happens next week that I can
Yeah.
give an evaluation for this week because it could be a fluke. I mean, U.S. defense is trash.
Yeah. Let's switch to the other side. Defensive line. The job they did. Pressuring
Just
Caleb Williams all night.
harassing a Heisman contender.
Man.
It's a quality work, and it's something they should be proud of. Just from a unit basis and what they were able to do to such a dynamic player.
Yeah. The defensive backs left.
Got to give them an A.
Man.
Just for the challenge of the unit that they were facing. That they may not be a Marvin Harrison Jr., but there's a lot of speed on that side of the ball. Wiry players, but our physicality obviously is our advantage in a matchup like that. And everybody was physical. Everybody was playing well, not just one corner, one safety. Everybody was involved and had a lot of impact. I mean, from Xavier Watts to Ben Morrison to Cam and everything in between. Mike Mackey's got to get paid, man.
Yeah. He deserves it. Yeah. That's my dog. I just don't want to see him go. But he deserves to get a look as a DC in college. And he definitely deserves a pay raise. I would agree with that. The linebackers left.
I like what they did. I'll give them a B. I just think just a B effort. Let's go with that.
I can rock with that. I mean, but they came up with some huge plays.
Right.
Fourth down stop by J.D. Bertrand, Maris with a couple of big time stops. But I'll let you roll with the B. Al Golden.
Give him another A, man. He's been putting up not shutouts, but putting up great game plans against top quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
No different. Nothing changed from what happened this weekend, and to do it to a Heisman hopeful and a Heisman winner already.
Mm-hmm.
Just preparing him for what I believe he's trying to work on a resume going back into the league. And I think he did a lot for not only us but himself with the type of game plan he put together against an obvious number one pick of the draft.
As we get ready to close, I think one of the most egregious things I saw was somebody said, Caleb Williams is more Kyler Murray and more Baker Mayfield than he is Patrick Mahomes. And I laughed. I said that's one of the worst comps I've ever heard in my life. Because first of all, Baker Mayfield had a dominant run game at Oklahoma. Kyler Murray had a dominant run game. Go look at the offensive linemen.
They won the offensive lineman back-to-back years.
Go look at the offensive linemen that were blocking for those quarterbacks that play in the NFL right now. Caleb Williams has none of that. He's lit. USC is literally winning because of him.
That's it. I mean, hell, you saw it Saturday. He didn't have his best game, and they lost by 28 points.
Man, it's very simple. It's a simple equation for USC. Caleb plays good, they win.
Okay. They bad, they get blown out, not just lose. Because defense never gonna have their back.
Never.
Defense giving up 30 plus every time.
Never.
So,
And I told Notre Dame fans on Wednesday in the middle of the week, USC is not scoring 30 points.
yeah, I could have told you all that.
Said, no, they're not scoring 30 points. Not this week. Not this week. So you have a young man that's literally carrying the entire program when it comes to wins and losses. Baker Mayfield is a bad comp. Baker Mayfield, he's an awful comp. Awful. And once again, for the Notre Dame fans that tried to use last night as a referendum on Caleb Williams and to try and say that Sam Hartman's a better quarterback, that's laughable. That's laughable. It just is. Before we get out of here, because we'll dig deeper into this, man, we don't have an opponent this week. So, Shane Walton. Shane Walton, former Notre Dame defensive back, will be with us this week.
That's right. Nice.
On the Lucky Lefty podcast. I believe Tuesday he's going to hit me back tomorrow to confirm the day. Man, that's a lot of former Notre Dame players in coaching, bro.
Hey, it's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Telling you, man, Notre Dame get a good resume builder for whatever you want to go into.
Yeah. You know, if all the pulpit preachers out there, you know, that want to judge Caleb Williams by some darn fingernails, I don't know what else to tell you.
I mean, you got a point, though.
What's that?
Putting all that fingernail polish for your nails, man. You don't need all that.
He probably doesn't.
Would you encourage your son to do that?
Would I encourage my son to do that?
Yeah, if he was like, Dad, I just want to, paint my fingernails all type of colors and shapes and sizes and stuff. I'm like, man,
it's not even a matter. That's not even a question that deserves an answer from me, bro. That's like,
I'm like, man, go learn how to build a cabinet, bro. Do some carpentry work. Learn you a new skill. Play the guitar or something. There's many other ways to express yourself than a lazy way, as in painting your nails. Miles Davis, what he used to do, he used to make great music. Van Gogh used to paint.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Put some beautiful artwork together. You ain't got to take the easy way out.
See, this is my thing, though. As we get ready to close this out. And this is why a lot of fans are capping when it comes to Caleb Williams. You ask me a question, would I allow my kid? No. Heck, the USC coaching staff shouldn't have allowed him to put that on his nails,
That's right.
knowing like you don't need this look.
You don't need that look, bro.
You know, it's not even worth it. I understand the backstory.
Yeah, I get all. Yeah, we get all
I
that.
get it. You're upset.
Yeah, we get all that.
You got a chip on your shoulder for Notre Dame, going back to your recruitment. Cool.
We get all that. Cool.
We get all that. Just go out there and bust their
Just go out there and play. Yeah, just go.
Go out there and do exactly what you did in the Coliseum last year. Go bust their
That's
ass.
it.
And bust the Heisman pose in the end zone.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. But see, this is my thing. There's nothing. This is why it's mad corny to me. Like, you mad about some nails? Like, I personally know of some jerks on Notre Dame's football team the last 2 years. Flat out jerks. But we want to talk about fingernails? That's we talking about fingernails. Kid's not a jerk. He's not a jerk. He got caught up in trying to make a statement towards a team that shunned him in recruiting. It was a bad decision. Who hasn't made a bad decision at that age in life?
That's right.
It's all this judgmental stuff, man. Get over yourself. Because when people start implying he's soft, it's like you're trying to imply some lifestyle things to this young man, and you don't know anything about him.
That's right.
To me, that's mad corny. He was very open about what the FND was for. He should have put it on his wristband. It would have been a much better look. Just put it on your wristband.
I wore wristbands back in the day. I don't know how it got lower and lower.
I'm just saying.
I used to be, wristband up. I had all the little sands and stuff on them. Yeah, I had all the wristbands. I ain't never thought, maybe I just wasn't thinking swag back then. I don't know.
It's like, man, you don't like this dude, and you want to sit up here and cap that you wouldn't like him as your quarterback at Notre Dame. Come on, man. What are we really talking about? What are we really talking about? But people love to judge, man, in this time and day. That's why Twitter and social media pops the way it does. People love to judge, knowing absolutely nothing about the people they're judging. They love to judge. It's amazing. Hey, Left. That was a great game yesterday, bro.
Which one?
And I appreciate Dan Lanning standing up and saying, "Yo, I lost this game for my team."
Oh yeah, going for it on fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting too greedy. Colorado State won in a crazy way. Hail Mary. End of the game. Crazy way to lose.
Crazy way to lose.
It's good football.
And, it was just some beautiful football yesterday. Yeah. It really was. Some great games. The Texas A&M Tennessee, low scoring, but it was a really good game.
That's right.
It was a really good game. Yeah, man. It was great. It was a great weekend of football. It really was. Great win. Who you got this week?
I got Sam Houston State versus FIU on Wednesday.
Florida International.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where is it at? Do you at least get to go to Florida?
No, I'm in Sam Houston State.
Yeah, they're in Texas, right?
Yeah, they're outside of Houston.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Man, they got you turning right back around. Might be real again.
Try to get that Tony Romo contract, man. Shout out to Tony, man.
Yeah, Penn State against Ohio State this week.
Everybody's kind of worried about what Penn State's going to do, but I can tell you now, they're not who you
They
think
haven't
they
played
are.
anybody. They haven't played anybody.
That's it. And they're going to play somebody and lose, and then we're going to be like, oh, they tricked us again.
Yeah.
James Franklin.
Yeah. Yeah. They
know how to hype themselves up going into the beginning of the season. As always, they got the week schedule up until about week 8.
Yeah.
Then they got to play the actual teams. They get, wish-washed.
Blown out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they come back and have to play Michigan on the road, I believe. So it's about to get real. All these teams like Penn State, Michigan that haven't played anybody.
Oregon, yeah, they got to play some teams.
Yeah, because Oregon really hadn't played anybody before the Washington game. Heck, Oregon plays USC. I think USC goes to Oregon.
Another nail biter.
Yeah.
Oregon got defense though, so
this is why the loss to Louisville hurts. Left. You would have been right there, waiting for all
from the fallout.
Waiting for the fallout. Waiting for all these teams to play each other. You know,
we would have fell right in that slot, number 5.
Yeah.
Because all of them play each other. Michigan play Ohio State play. Florida State play a team. Oklahoma still got a couple games left. We would have won the games we needed to. We would have placed ourselves in a great position.
I think Alabama has LSU coming up. Who did Alabama just beat? I know they beat Texas A&M last
Mississippi State.
No, it wasn't Mississippi State. It was a team at home.
Arkansas,
yes. Feel bad for Sam Pittman because they have lost, I think, 5 consecutive games by 1 score.
Gotta learn how to finish.
Gotta learn how to finish games. Man. Yeah, but other than that, we'll check you guys tomorrow, man.
That's right.
You gotta let Leak has to lay his head down. I'm sure the boys are still gonna try and keep him up, but
that's right.
Because that youngest one, he looks like a night owl.
Indeed. Well, both of them kind of.
Hey, I'll leave you all with this. I'm not a betting man, but Vegas be knowing. The fact that an hour after Notre Dame got embarrassed by Louisville, Notre Dame was installed as a 2.5-point favorite against USC. That right there, that lets you know, like, okay.
Fix is in.
Yeah, something's coming down the tracks, boy. Watching last night's game, I wouldn't be mad if somebody slid Caleb a little package. Because he played like that. He definitely played like he tried. Man, he played like Tony from what's the Nick Nolte film with Shaq and all those guys? And that old boy.
You said somebody they said, "Hey, take it easy on this one." Man, slid him a nice little brown package under the door.
Caleb was playing like he was shaving points for real yesterday.
Yeah, they say you want another Wendy's commercial? Let's try State Farm. You want some of that action? Let's make it look good versus Notre Dame. Why don't you?
Thanks, guys. Blue chips. Remember your boy Tony? It was like it was only a couple of times, coach. Like, hey, y'all. Hey. They came to him and said, "Yo, Caleb, we got $25K for you."
It's funny because I texted Caleb before the game. I said, "Good luck, man. It's gonna be a cold one in South Bend." He said, "I love it." I'm like, all right.
All right.
Sure, he loved it. All right.
Love that envelope he got when he arrived back in LA.
That's right. He said, "What mission complete? Well done.
Yeah,
Job
man.
well done.
Man.
You go ahead,
25K.
carry on your own season. You know."
And they said, dude, Caleb, this ain't, it's not even a conference game.
This ain't even, yeah.
It's non-conference. Y'all still undefeated in conference.
Go ahead, drop that one off, man. We'll drop you something. We'll drop you something off the back end of this major win we about to get in Vegas.
You kicked their butts last year. You proved it. You got the Heisman.
Number one pick, man. You don't need this
still
game.
The number one pick. You don't need this game.
Investigations.
He'll be a 2-year starter by the time they investigate this.
Yeah, he gonna be
knowing the NCAA, and they'll snatch his Heisman or something stupid. Like, whatever, man.
Whatever.
Left. Great show, man. Great win. We'll talk to everybody this week. Make sure you spend it different. Get some rest.